definitely would want to eat the warthogs, but if you look at them now, they are flat cats. Now, if you like napping, then you want to be a lion, because lions are the best at napping. They can nap for about 20 hours a day. This is a big pride of lions for the area. There's should be 11. So you can see there's one there. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can only see 10 lions. A very good. Oh, here we go. Let's go. That's about. We're going to have a little rollover. Oh, change positions, get more comfy. Now, Rose Hill Elementary would like to know, why are lions scared of elephants? Well, lions are not the true kings of the African bush. It is definitely the African elephant. A really big male lion will weigh about 450 pounds, where a really big elephant will weigh over 10,000 pounds. So elephants can squish lions, so lions tend to try avoid elephants. Now, elephants will chase away lions. Lions will sometimes try hunt baby elephants, but that's very rare. Now, can you believe, you can see this is the young male close. Oops, sorry, the one close. Oh, the little feet. The one closest to us is a little boy. Is it the little boy? It is the little male, and he is probably only about 3 feet from the side of our car. Now, while we're in the car, we are safe from the lions. They're not going to try eat us. The car smells of gas and oil and all that type of stuff. But if we were walking, we'd have to be a lot more careful. But in the car, the lions don't see the car as food. They don't know that there are people in it. They don't have an instinctive response to the car. So if Senzo comes out, he'll show you how close. There we go. That's how close the lion is to the car. Isn't that amazing? There we go. And Senzo don't tickle the lions. Now, Senzo's only joking. It looks like he was tickling the lion, but he's just putting his hand in front of the camera there. But they are looking very lazy at the moment. So, as I said, they sleep for about 20 hours a day. And even when they are moving, they don't move solidly for 4 hours at a time. They'll walk for 20 minutes, sleep for half an hour, walk for an hour, sleep for 4 hours. And these guys covered a big bit of ground last night. They probably did 5 or 6 miles. Now, we're going to sit here. Hopefully the lions will be a little bit more active while we're here. In the meantime, it sounds like Steve's got something tiny to show you. Okay, guys, so I'm not hearing any questions from you, so I'm going to have to quiz you. So I've got a question for you about lions. I want you to tell me, how many pounds of meat can a lion eat in one go? How many pounds of meat can a lion eat in one go? I think I can eat 1.5 pounds. Senzo, how much meat can you eat in one go? 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, I think I could do. Senzo nods, he thinks he can eat about the same. So how many pounds of meat do you think one of these lions can eat in one sitting? Very lazy kitties today. Isn't that pretty though? Now, they found a nice spot, but every now and then you'll see their ears or tails flick, and that's because there's some nasty biting flies around. And those flies, actually, there we go, you can see it there, are coming to drink their blood. They're called stable flies. Oh, there's a lioness up. Hello, big girl. Now, lions will often get up and move during the day and change their sleeping positions. You can see she's got a bad injury, but it's healed quite well on her on her hip, and she is the oldest lioness in this pride. And she was born about 10 years ago. So she is the oldest. She's sneaking up on you, Sens. Well, soon we're going to be surrounded by lions. Now, if you look carefully now that she's moved, you can always tell where a pride of lions has been sleeping as opposed to other animals, because they lie very close together and they flatten the grass. Oh, my comms come out. Sorry. Something wants... Quick link. Quickly across to my friend Taylor. They are definitely still fast asleep, and you can see them there. Now, I was saying you can always tell where a pride of lions has been sleeping. So let's have a look down towards the end there, Sens, past the last lion. You see how flat the grass is, and as the sun comes through and changes during the day, the lions will move as they get hot, as the shade moves with the sun. There we go. What's she doing? She's just hooked the tree. She's almost hugging the tree. Not really, though. It just happens to be there when she put her paw up. Lucas, I'm not going to give everyone the answer just yet, but Lucas, if I can eat 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, Lucas says a lion can eat 3 pounds. Lucas said can eat a lot more than 3 pounds. Ava, it can eat even more than 20 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Eric, it can eat even more than 40 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Jacob, you are the closest. A big male lion can eat up to 90 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Isn't that incredible? Imagine trying to eat 90 pounds in one go. I would be fat if I had to do that. Now, on average, though, because they don't eat every day like other animals, so if you work out, on average, all the animals they eat over a year, they eat between 10 and 25 pounds of meat a day. Now, they can eat in one go up to 90 pounds if it's a big male, but lions will eat, catch something today and they'll eat it, and then they won't eat again for maybe 3 days, 4 days if they're very full, or sometimes they'll eat on something big like a buffalo for 2 days. So it is amazing. So they're used to having feast and famine. They're not lucky enough to get food every day like we are, because they've got to go out and catch it. There's no supermarkets out here in the African bush. Good question, Jackson. Jackson says, if lions eat so much, how are they so skinny? Well, these lions, I would say, haven't eaten anything big in a couple of days. And they also have a very fast metabolism when it comes to breaking down their food. So even if they eat something that's, if they eat 90 pounds of meat in a sitting, all that meat will be digested within 2 days. So they digest very, very quickly. Now, Colt, it depends on the lion. Let's have a look at my hand here, Sans. So, I've got quite big hands for a human. So, let me try to find something that is comparable in size that you might recognize. I have binoculars. So, there's my binoculars, so you can see how big my hands are. So, they're quite big hands. Now, a big male lion's track will sit like this, over the base of my hand, and its toes just going over there. So, and a lioness's track will fit inside my hand. But we'll have a closer look at the paw. There we go. Now, Mason was asking what would attack a lion. We've said elephants would attack them, sometimes rhino, sometimes buffalo, hippo, and sometimes, if there's enough, hyenas will also attack lions. Okay, I'm going to wait a little bit longer with these sleepy kitties. While we do that, let's go see what Taylor's found next. Oh, sorry, I was doing what the lions are doing. I was having a nap because the lions were making me feel tired. Of course, I'm only joking, but I don't think these lions are going to get up to much over the next little while, so I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want me to go see if I can find some other animals, or do you want me to stay with the lions for a bit longer? Or we're going to get a rollover from the female next to us. Well, almost, there we go. Full rollover. Now, Sina, lions sleep for 20 hours a day because they have a problem dealing with heat. So if they had to move around when it's hot, they would overheat and they would die. So they wait till it gets cool before they start moving. So they normally only move around late in the evening and into the hours of darkness. And that's their favorite time to hunt as well. Now, they've evolved to do this so they don't compete with the other dominant predator out in the African bush, and the other dominant predator out here is human beings. So we are the dominant daytime predator. Oh, a little hug. And the lions are the dominant nocturnal predator. So by them sleeping during the heat of the day when we're up and awake and moving around, it means they don't have to compete with us. And when we go to bed, the nighttime belongs to them. Now, they might get moving, but I don't think so. There's no food around for them, but I'd say probably in about 2 or 3 hours when the temperature drops quite a bit is when they might start moving. Okay, guys, well, it seems like you want to go see other animals. I'm going to go see if we can find some elephants. So I'm going to go look for some elephants. Hopefully we'll find you some elephants before the end of your very own safari. I'm going to have one last look at the lazy lions. Okay, so bye-bye lions. I'm going to go look for elephants. In the meantime, let's go see where Taylor is. Hello, kitties. I'm glad you have not moved off just yet. As I say, the temperature is dropping quite quickly, so there is a possibility they might get moving a bit earlier. It is one of those catch-22 situations because we are right on our boundary. Now, there we go. Well done to Fluffy Ossicones and Cassandra. The largest migration is the straw-coloured fruit bat. And there's about, I think, depending on the year, up to 5 or 6 million straw-coloured fruit bats that migrate out of the Congo Basin forests to Kasanka National Park in Zambia. But there is another large mammal migration, so not a bat migration, a large mammal migration that beats the wildebeest and zebra and Tommies for second. Oh, well done. Who cares? I'd forgotten. I'll do that on my way home. I'd forgotten to pick up the lion, the little lion claws out of the poo. That is very well remembered. Oh, still quite flat. Ah, well done, Aaron. It is indeed the white-eared cob that migrate to and from the Sud in southern Sudan. And it's estimated that in terms of numbers, they are the greatest single mammal migration in Africa. I would love to go see that. Unfortunately, South Sudan, I have been there before. It's not a place you want to go on safari just yet, and you tend to have to duck AK-47 bullets being flung around by people at the moment. So maybe in a few years it'll be safe enough to go see that migration. There is one mad Russian man who runs safaris in there in an ancient Antonov aeroplane. Okay, well, we're going to sit with the Nkuhumas. Hopefully they do get moving as the sun starts getting lower in the sky. Let's go see what Steve's found on the ground. Well, there was one head up very briefly, well, it's still sort of up. But for the most part, yes, the Pride is still fast asleep. But we all know it's important to be patient when out on safari. There could be some unsuspecting buffalo or waterbuck that wanders up to us, and the Pride might wake up in a split second. Very important to be patient. Sharon, I'm not sure how many were counted this morning, but when I could only count 10 when I was here earlier, but with this long grass it can be quite difficult, so let's try again now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11? Is that another line behind there? I'm going to have to move. Yeah, let's have a try from a different angle. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. Now, let's do the swing round to see if there's one at the back. There's 11. Yes, I can still count 11. 11 flat, not so fat cats. They are quite skinny at the moment. Gina, I would say that domestic cats are called kittens because they're little, and cubs because they are bigger. I'm trying to remember where the turnaround point is. I think it's probably a cat the size of Serval. It's the same as you could argue. I'm pretty sure it's all due to size. If you look at something like bulls and cows and rams and ewes, same thing. It's a lot to do with the size. So the bigger you are, well, you become a cat and a cub, or a lion and a cub, and if you're a little cat, you have a kitten. As I said, the same goes with antelope species. So out here, the turning species for us is a Nyala. You have a Nyala bull and a Nyala ewe. And then anything bigger is a bull and a cow. Kudu bull, kudu cow, waterbuck bull. Anything smaller, bushbuck ram, bushbuck ewe, impala ram, impala ewe. Oh, are you going to wake the rest up? I hope so. As long as you don't go to the east. Now, take care. Instinct is sort of the is definitely genetically transferred. It's hundreds of thousands of years of genetics at work. It is sort of the instinct is the epitome of genetic transference. Here we go, wake up. Stop chewing on grass, go chew on a buffalo. It looks like some of them might be getting a little bit more mobile. There's some heads popping up. They did walk a really long way yesterday, which means they might get going a little bit late this evening. Something smell good out there. Testing the breeze. Now, the adults haven't moved at all, just the little ones so far. Shame. Hungry kitties. Now, all predators are opportunists, Finalia, and if they are hungry enough, yes, they will eat other cats like leopards. Even sometimes if they're desperate enough, if they kill a hyena, they will eat the hyena. It all depends on how hungry they are. Hello, Tooffies. The Nkuhuma Pride are going through a bit of a rough spot at the moment with the Avoca males around, and the Birmingham's not putting in much of a presence. But that's the life of lions. It's a constant sort of roller coaster between the good times and the tough. Now, currently Zephyr, no. If the Avocas take over, they'll kill all lions under 3 years old, as a general rule. So the sub-adults are definitely not old enough to survive a takeover just yet. Sometimes they might leave some of the females that are on 2.5 years old, but generally have to be over 3. Oh, stretch. Dennis, not that we've seen, but we assume they have. They were on a buffalo carcass in Buffelshoek when all of a sudden the Avocas were on the carcass the next day, and the youngest in Nkuhuma, the cub that was about 6 months old, hasn't been seen since that day. So yes, there's a strong possibility that they have come into contact, they have almost certainly come into contact with the Avoca males. Yeah, patience time with the Nkuhuma Pride. In the meantime, let's go see what botany Steve is going to teach you next. Indeed, by far the largest predator we find out here in the African savannas. And there's a little bit more movement, not much, just the oldest female with the wound has started to do a bit of preening and licking of herself. So, when lions groom, they do remove parasites from themselves and from each other, pangolin, but unfortunately there are so many little parasites on them that it's near impossible for them to get them all. As you can see, quite a few of these lions have quite a few big ticks on them, but they are quite used to it. It's not unusual for lions to be infested with lots of different types of little parasites. Mostly ticks. As I say, they are hungry, that's why I'm with them, but they did walk so far yesterday that they might take a bit of time to get going today. Stretch time. Oh, doesn't that look good? As you can see, empty bellies. She's just going to flop down again while she's urinating. That's always a good sign. Normally after a stretch and a urinate. So let's just wait and see. She's going to, after she's finished urinating, she might flop down on one of the other lionesses. And that's normally a sign that trying to convince the rest of the pride that it's time to get moving. So there we go. Starting to greet. Bit of allo grooming. Come on, wake up, wake up. So let me just try and move back a little bit to see who she's grooming. Just stay there, so as you can see, there's a few more heads up now. How's that? As I said, we're about to see some behavior now. So let's just see. She might flop down on the other lioness. And okay, while we wait, we're going to send you across to Taylor, who's watching the setting sun. So they went through that little greeting ceremony, and now they're on the move. So I say it is quite risky for us because we are on the boundary at the moment. Sorry, someone's just calling me on the radio. Standing by behind, I'm here, Tux and Aubrey making their way. They're busy moving north up Chitwa line at the moment. Oh, they're going to flop again. That's not unusual. Over, you'll be first standby. Okay, there we go. As you can see, this is not unusual behavior for lions to get up and start moving and then stop again for a little bit. Copy yours. So just the other guys wanting to make their way here. So it's all the girls, the big girls, up and about in front of us at the moment. Oof! Flatulent lion. They are very smelly creatures, lions. Now, here come, oh, they're flopping on each other down there, the little ones. Now, Fonua, yes, lionesses will actually often cheat on their male coalitions, and in certain parts of Africa, up to 48% of the cubs born to a pride are from nomadic males. So that will move through and will mate with the female. So if a male fails to join a coalition or happens to be out on his own when he sets off, a lot of these males become solely nomadic. And what they'll do is they will mate on the sly, on the sneak, with the lioness when she's an estrus before moving on to an area. And often those are quite good genetics, obviously, because that male lion's managed to survive by himself up into an age where he's able to breed. And he keeps moving and keeps doing that. And that's the way for a solitary male lion to pass on genetics, to pass on his genetics if he isn't able to control a pride. Let's have a look what the little boy is going to get up to here. And see if he's going to flop down onto one of the lionesses. He might get a swat. Oh no, he's going to flop down all by himself. Here comes the rest of the littles. Now we're getting a bit macabre here. Tanzania Travels would like to know, would lions ever kill and eat a pride member in desperation? Not that I've ever heard of before, but if a pride member is killed while hunting buffalo or by another lion or something like that, there have been records of their pride eating them. As I said, this is not unusual behavior for lions at all. Get up, stretch, do a bit of grooming, then get moving, then flop down again, then get moving, then flop down again. And you can see as the temperature drops, they should become more active, especially because they are so hungry. Yes and no. I mean, they have a sense of direction, and not in terms of what we would traditionally call a sense of direction. They know the boundaries of their home range and of their core areas, but I wouldn't say they know north from south. But a lot of that direction will be controlled by scent of other prides, and also from the vocalizations of other prides will determine their sort of movements. No, there's still one more on the way. Francis, the buffaloes are constantly on the move, so I'm sure there's buffalo somewhere around, but at the moment most of the buffalo have been in the Manyeleti on the lovely gabbro grasses, but they do move to and from. And of course, as we know, this pride likes to specialize in buffalo. Okay, let's move around to the side of them. Yeah, Tux, make your way. It's just me, and then Johan on first standby, yours on second. Okay, while we get ourselves into a good position to view them, let's send you to Madam McCurdy to see what she's up to. Well, they did what often happens with lion prides. They got up, moved a little bit, flopped over, went back for a snooze. But they're still definitely more alert, more active than they were a bit earlier. Heads are up. The temperature is dropping rapidly at the moment. Probably just here, you'll hear another game drive vehicle that's also here, and also the lovely call of a pearl-spotted owlet in the distance. As well as the noisy going-ons of one of the noisiest birds out here at all times, the fork-tailed drongo. There we go, some greeting, flopping. So these little moments between lion prides. Well, we got a bit of a sore foot there. Nothing too serious, but a little bit of a limp. Now, as I said, these little intimate moments between lion prides when they're not feeding are very important, as it helps reaffirm the bonds between the pride, because when they are feeding, they can be incredibly aggressive with each other. All table manners go out the door. Now, these little lions are still a bit of rather more of a hindrance than a help when it comes to hunting. Who cares? It'll be a while yet before they're actually sort of useful, effective members of the hunting party. They're still a bit small. Often at this stage is the age where they often give away hunts by being very keen to participate, but not quite having the experience or the patience. Now, if you had to leave one of these lions all off on its own, one of these sub-adults, without the threat of other lions, obviously, and hyenas, they would learn to hunt by themselves very quickly. You do not need to teach a lion how to hunt. All that is instinctively there. They know exactly what they need to do from the day they're born. Oh, going back to snooze. Now, we're sitting with lions at the right time of the day, okay? They're most active in the 2 to 3 hours after sunset and the 2 to 3 hours before sunset. That is when the most big cats are most active. Now, we're going to sit here patiently. Hopefully they do get up and on the move and don't visit our eastern neighbours. While we wait, let's see what Steve's found. Well, here come the lions, right down Chitwa Cutline. Fortunately for us, they haven't moved off to the east just yet. So I'm just going to keep still. They're right next to me. I mean, so close. I'm just watching the monitor. Now remember, I've got no door when those lions walk past. It is an awesome, awesome feeling. I don't want to move too much when they do that because I don't have a door and my big feet. How cool is this? Absolutely awesome. Vernalia, it is completely safe to do safaris with open trucks at night. As you can see, the cats completely ignore us, and we get to see some very interesting behavior by them during the night. Here comes the next little troublemaker. Right next to us again. A little bit more nervous, one of the younger ones. Watching Senzo, checking his new haircut. Senzo's do has come loose, so he's got half long, half short hair now at the moment. He's confused. Hello, kitties. Hello, kitties. We are incredibly privileged to be able to sit this close to the biggest cats in Africa. Isn't this amazing? Oh, we're going to IR. Last two. There we go. Bye, kitties. Okay, let's keep up with them. As I say, I'm hoping they don't disappear into Torchwood. Okay, well, let's keep up with the lions. While we do that, we're going to send you across to Steve and Taylor, who have managed to bump into each other. Let's see how far down the road they are. They're still coming. Unfortunately for us, they are not going east just yet. As you'll see, Taxon and Aubrey are also in the sighting with us. So let's just move past them. Okay. Song of Rain. I have had lions stop and take a sniff at me before. I have even been scent marked by a male lion once. I was parked here and there was a guarri bush, and he stopped next to the guarri bush and he sprayed me. You see them there, Sense? Okay. Now, we have switched into infrared. However, the game drive vehicles will still be using their spotlights while following the lions until they start hunting. Oh, did they decide to take a break after we've shot all the way down the road in front of them? No, it looks like they are on the move again. Are we having a little rest? As I say, that's not unusual lion behavior at all. Walk, flop down, walk, flop down. Occasionally, yes, Venalia lions do visit the edges of the camp. We haven't had lions in camp, but in the Mara we've had lions in our camp there on a couple of occasions. I found something interesting to sniff down there. We were hoping they were going to keep walking towards us. We're just going to wait a little bit longer to see what they do. Okay, well, it looks like these lions are going to walk right up to us now, or at least one of the lionesses. So we're just going to sit tight right in this very spot. She should come right to us. That's why we parked a bit further down the road. You can see her eyes reflecting in the infrared, and she's heading towards us. Isn't that quite eerie? Oh, and she heard something. If she's heard something in that direction, it's good for us, because that's back into Djuma. Now, you might see some flashes from the guests on the photographic vehicles. The flash photography does not bother the lions. It's not going to interfere with them at all. They are completely oblivious to it. See, here comes the rest of the pride now. And so they should walk right up to us. Isn't that cool? Looking at those eyes. I just heard on the radio, I'm not sure if Taylor's been listening to the radio, but apparently there's a leopard on Impala Plains, and I think Taylor is quite close to there. So if Final Control, can you pass that on to T? Yeah, they come right up to us again. Senzo's just whispered, scary. Look at that, isn't that cool? They're stopping, smelling, listening. T-Art, indeed it is spooky. No, no, no Nkuhumas. Bad Nkuhumas. Bad, don't go that way. We want you to keep going that way. We don't want them to walk down that road. Unfortunately, that is the closest water, is down that road. So we don't really want them. They haven't seemed to have made up their mind that they are all going down there just yet. And I think if they do, we're not going to get too many more views of our beloved Nkuhuma Pride. And look at this girl, how close they are to us. As you can see, they take no notice of the vehicles. I mean, they're right next to us. I don't worry about switching off the infrared sends, I'm sure, for a few seconds. Yes! Good girls. Good girls. Not going to Torchwood yet. They are acting like they've heard something. There are often quite a lot of waterbuck around here. Also the odd zebra. The zebras have moved this far already. Isn't this magic? Beaver, no, they're not going to see the predator's eyes shining in the infrared. The same as that they wouldn't see an impala's eyes shining in the infrared. So they stopped and trying to decide which way to go again. Saskia, lions when they're moving like this are very, very quiet. You're just hearing their footfalls. They're not making any calls or noises because, of course, they're all together. And they want to be as silent as possible with the evoker males around. No, we are still hoping that they go left and not right. And go left before the next boundary, which is, it's still quite far though. Oh, magic. No, Sue, none of the lionesses are pregnant. They've all had cubs recently, or lost cubs recently, and they're probably going to try avoid mating because of the evoker males. Let me move forward a little bit there, Sens. They've all suddenly decided they're going the right direction, guys. They're turning left, which is what we want. Something seems to have caught their attention off to the left. As I said, this is quite a productive area. There could even be an old buffalo bull in this area. But I think the most likely animals that are going to find in this area from what I've seen today is waterbuck and kudu. Okay. Now it looks like they are going into Djuma. We might have to do some work to keep up with them. I've got a plan though, don't worry, I've always got a plan. I know we have Central Road. I'm going to have to go in. I was just trying to think if there was an open area I might be able to zoot around to, but I don't think there is. Okay, so I'm going to try to see where these lions are going, try to stick with them. While we do that, let's send you back across to Taylor. Well, they've come back onto the boundary. But their focus is still towards Djuma's side. I wonder if they have heard something in the blocks. No, on the move again. Let me just have a quick look, see if the others are coming. Not yet. Here come the rest. See, there's still a bit of ambient light to the west. Now, they are definitely gearing up for a hunt, Danelle. They are hungry. There's a lot of hungry lions in this pride. So they are definitely on the prowl, hoping to catch something. They've heard something, but you can't really, of course, we can't really tell what it is. So they are listening and moving. They might hear the stomp of a buffalo's hoof, an old buffalo bull. They could hear kudu moving through the grass. So when the grass is long like this, they do rely heavily on their hearing to help them locate prey. Stop, listen. But they haven't showed that sort of proper crouch down behavior that the potential prey is close yet. I'm trying to listen as well. Of course, the lion's hearing is much better. And also there, all the subbies plonked down in the road behind us. All 6. And the 5 adults up ahead. So I wonder what's in this block here. I said very strong possibility waterbuck or kudu in this area. Amazing how still lions can be when they want to. Paula, I'm sure they hear something moving in the grass, some form of antelope, maybe a nyala even. Those ears out, listening carefully. It's one of those moments where I'm trying to listen so carefully, but I can't hear anything. One of the lionesses decided it's better to listen lying down. Now, I'm not even sure which leopard Taylor's got. Apparently it might be Hukumuri, so let's go see if he's decided to get up and on the move. Well, it all depends on how close I am to the Nkuhuma Pride before I do my dance. I might have to do a jig from in my seat if we get to the... what number is it? I think 100,000. So subscribe now, right now. Go subscribe if you haven't already. And the lions are still... That's on YouTube, by the way. Go subscribe on YouTube. I probably should have mentioned that. They're still there. They're still listening to something, but they're not nearly as interested as they were a little bit earlier. So I just need to be... Yes, you're welcome to stay. I'll be leaving in about 9 minutes. Okay. There we go. Some of them on the move again. They're still looking intent, but now the sub-adults have come. So it's possible that the potential for prey, they might have just moved off a little bit. They're not as close as they were. So the lions are heading off to see if they can get closer. So the majority of the adults still schnoozing. 1, 2, yeah, all there. The sub-adults have got bored and started to move closer. Kaya is asking which of the best big cats are the cleanest. None of them. They are foul, smelly creatures, all of the big cats, even though they look sleek and elegant and beautiful. But I'd say out of the big cats, cheetah are probably the cleanest, because they don't eat as much carrion and rotting meat as lions and leopards do. But they all have lots of nasty ectoparasites, parasites, halitosis, flatulence, you name it. They're all pretty smelly. Yes, YouTube viewer, lions' tongues are rough like house cats. They're even rougher, like very harsh sandpaper, that if they keep licking a spot on the buffalo's skin, they'll actually take the skin off. And on a soft creature like a human being that doesn't have all that hair over it, it would very easily, if they licked 5 or 6 times in the same place, remove the skin. Okay, well, our lines have gone flat. Let's send you back to Madam McCurdy with Ogamore on the move.